Welcome back to TYT Sports. J.R. Jackson on my left, or maybe your right, depending on how you're looking at the camera. Jason Rubin on the left or right, depending on how you're looking at the camera. Oh. The Lakers organization is an interesting storyline throughout the NBA this year. And Mitch Kupchak, the one person I constantly praise in that organization, has gaffed recently in regards to developing the young talent, most notably Julius Randle, D'Angelo Russell, Jordan Clarkson, all potential star players for the Los Angeles Lakers.
You draft them for a reason.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's how the Lakers, by the way, real quick fact, the Lakers win championships when they draft accordingly, not when they try to sign everybody. So
that worked out for them with Shaq. But okay, let's move on.
Well, of course, but they drafted Kobe.
Yeah.
As an example, and they
drafted Kobe, but still.
They got Kobe. That's a fair point. They got Kobe. Like the Giants didn't draft Eli, they just got Eli.
Yes.
He didn't want to play for the San Diego Chargers. But back to the point. So Mitch Kupchak, I'm going to say a gaffe, and I like Mitch Kupchak a lot. I got to preempt that before I get to his quote that makes me want to rip out the volume of my hair, as Jared was saying earlier today. So quote number 1 of 3. We'll read through all these. Under normal circumstances, in a season like this, at some point you would probably concentrate on just developing all your young players. But we can't do that right now. This season is really justified farewell to perhaps the best player in franchise history. And God willing, he's going to want to play every game, and he's going to want to play a lot of minutes in every game because that's just the way he is. If you can't tell, it's about Kobe. Every game, it's about Kobe. Even when he doesn't play, it's about Kobe. So in a lot of regards, there's a silver lining that our guys can develop under the radar and maybe make a mistake or make 2 mistakes, and it's not a big deal. And continues to say, as long as that continues, which it should, then that's 30 to 35 minutes that you might give to a young player that you can't. How do you get a feel for your team going forward when you know that your best player is not going to be there next year? So it's really hard to go forward until he's no longer here. Well, he ends on a cogent point. So how do you move forward with Kobe still there on a $25 million contract or $20 million deal this year? But he also makes what I call a giant gaffe in the way that that's 30 to 35 minutes that you could give to a young player, but you can't. No, Mitch Kupchak, you 1,000% can. And we'll get to a little bit about the game that happened last night against the Kings, but Jared, I wanted to hear your thoughts. Is this surprising to you, or is this just falling into the same
Well, it's what everyone knew. I think that's why he didn't mind. You know, a lot of times guys at the press and talking to reporters, they try and be careful about their words because they don't want to be seen as you say, a gaffe or messing up or then pointing out something that shows any incompetence. But everyone knew it already. So we know Kobe's playing in any other circumstance. If his name wasn't Kobe Bryant, he wouldn't be playing or making the kind of money he's making this year, wouldn't be playing. But I think he's right. Obviously, it's what they're doing. But in a way, like you have younger guys who aren't getting those minutes or they can play under the radar, which I think is good in a way. They're also, these guys are maybe learning from Kobe. Maybe these guards are learning from certain nuances of the game that Kobe can teach them in his last season, as well as making this his farewell tour. And if Kobe sat, I don't think the Lakers are going to be top contenders in the West anyway. So all that kind of came together in his point, and it's Kobe. And if he wasn't playing, as he said, even if he wasn't, we'd still be talking about Kobe. People would be showing up at the arena going, what did I pay this expensive Laker ticket for? And I don't even get to see Kobe in his farewell season. Then he'd have fans on his back. Then he'd have probably other coaches on his back saying what, or even he'd be telling the coaches not to play him, and the coaches would be mad that they're not able to play him. So it's just whoever the powers that be that make these decisions, there's going to be a clash. So just make it happen. And by the way, Kobe would be on his back, as he pointed out too.
Well, that of course is a major deal that they have to deal with also, as Byron Scott obviously deals with on a regular basis, especially with the media. JR, I can't stand how objectively fair you are when it comes to talking about the Lakers.
And
as a Clipper fan, where's the hate?
And as we point out, I traditionally and historically hate the Lakers to a very large degree, but when they suck, you can't kick.
You're not adding
insult.
You're not throwing gas on the fire.
Right. There's not much I can do. There's the reality involved with it. And as I've said many times before, I even almost disputed the point about quite possibly the greatest player in franchise history. Maybe.
Right. If we're going to pick it apart. Yeah, no.
I've always said Shaq is the best center that's ever touched the basketball.
And there's, of course, an argument for Magic. So, but, well, Kupchak, you're off the hook on that one for sure. Maybe this will get your blood boiling just a little bit, JR. With 3:48 left in the game against the Sacramento Kings yesterday in Sacramento, besides the overwhelming amount of Kobe chants that I heard watching this game. Why do I watch this game? Because I watch a lot of basketball. I also have to recap it for writing purposes. But regardless, Lakers went up 109-108, ripped off a 48-20 run over the course of 15 minutes, right? D'Angelo Russell was on fire, 11 of 16. He finished with about 4 assists in that game, 2 rebounds, and really looked like,
career high, right?
It's those flashes of brilliance that I kept saying in the draft. He's not going to be doing this full-time until 3-4 years down the road anyway, but if he develops correctly, it's those little things, those little pieces that get you excited, in combination with Julius Randle and Jordan Clarkson, who obviously are good young players and can develop further. They went up 109, 108 in a game they were down by 27 points at one point.
I didn't see this part because they were down by 27 points at one point, and I stopped watching.
Right, because like the rest of America, or the rest of at least who was watching this game here in Los Angeles.
Actually, I stopped watching when they were down by 15. Sorry, go ahead.
And it's not even like Kobe had a bad game. He was 10 of 18. He even had a beautiful, I'm going to call it a 1-2 half Euro step. It was like a partial Euro. It was just one of those one-on-one moments with Kobe, I believe, against Rudy Gay, and just you look back and you're like, damn, man, this guy is so good one-on-one.
Yeah.
And you've watched it for 20 years, and you're like, he's still so good one-on-one.
Yeah.
But Kobe praise aside, it does affect the team in those little moments. They ended up losing the game, but they made a roaring comeback against a team that is better than them in the Kings, right? So I just don't. I want the Lakers to develop their young talent. I hear screaming from somewhere. But I want them to develop their young talent because I want to see D'Angelo Russell develop into the court vision god that he can be. I know, high praise for him. Julius Randle, strong with the left. Jordan Clarkson's going to be traded for the #1 pick in the draft anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I've been saying that for a while. Watch, it's going to happen. They want Ben Simmons. But outside of that, it's just like those little moments, man. Little
But
moments
you know what?
where I can't
Maybe
agree with
because of that,
Kupchak.
we saw those little moments, but maybe it's working. Maybe Kupchak is right on
Part
this.
of a grander plan.
Like, look, he's emerging, and maybe under the radar he's been developing and he's learning things. It's allowing him to emerge. Maybe it won't be happening 3 or 4 years in his career, as you said. He'll be playing like this. Maybe it'll be in the 2nd to 3rd.
Maybe. I had high praise for D'Angelo Russell at Ohio State. I really did. Man, that guy was fun to watch.
Yeah.
And of course, he dropped a no-look pass to Julius Randle a couple nights back. Whew, God, I want his court vision. Seriously, I want his court vision. Draymond Green's trash-talking ability. I want Zach LaVine's bounce.
Yeah.
LeBron James' strength. J.R. Smith's swag. Boom! We leave you on that note. That's the combination of player I would like to be. At J.R. Jackson on Twitter, at JasonRubin91 on Twitter, at TYT Sports on Twitter. It's not NBA related, but the NFL has a big event coming up, and that would be the Super Bowl. First Sunday in February, I believe it's the 7th. We will be here watching it live. Make sure to come check us out. You can watch us watch the game as well as win some T-shirts, maybe even win a signed J.R. Jackson hat.
I mean, how much am I getting paid for this?